What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Get Rich or Go Broke Trying. I'm your host, Eddie Kang. We have an action-packed episode for you guys today. We are starting off with the knockout rounds of the World Cup. I have 4 picks for you guys on there, and then I have 5 bets for the first round of Wimbledon, and we will also be doing a futures/outright preview of Wimbledon. So to get started, first we are going to recap the last episode. We went 4-3 plus 2.57 units. So that put us at 49, 35, and 1 for the season, plus 24.95 units. All time, we are at 121 wins, 99 losses, and 3 pushes for plus 36.66 units. That will be a profit of $916.50 since the incarnation of this show if you place $25 unit bets. Alright, so we're going to get right into it. World Cup. This one is Monday, June 29th at 9 p.m. Netherlands versus Morocco. This will probably be the best first round match of the knockout rounds. We are taking Morocco to qualify at plus 114. They're on a 38 match unbeaten streak. I believe it is 31 wins and 7 draws. This is the longest streak in national team history, breaking Italy's record of 37. They average 16 shots per game in the group stages, up from 9 in the last World Cup in 2022. They have evolved their attacking form since 2022, and they made it to the semifinals in the last World Cup. Netherlands have not kept a clean sheet in 7 matches. They've conceded in every group game. They're a really good offensive team. They're an above-average defensive team, but Morocco is an elite defensive team. Ismail Sabari has scored in all 3 group games. I don't know if he'll score in the knockout round, but he's hot right now. Netherlands manager said it himself, quote, "I'm not sure if we're the favorite against Morocco," end quote. I agree with him. I think it's a very 50-50 coin flip matchup. I know the survivor pool we did in our betting group chat, nobody touched either team because they did not want to risk losing in the first round. Both of these teams have the potential to make deep runs. Whoever wins this matchup, I believe this is just a terrible matchup for Netherlands in the first round. Also, another reason why I'm picking them to qualify is Morocco won 2 penalty shootouts en route to their 2022 semifinal runs. They're dangerous in the first 90 minutes, and they're dangerous if it goes to extra time and penalties as well. You're giving me plus 114 on a team that's ranked 6th in the world with a 38-match unbeaten streak. I'm probably going to take that 9 times out of 10. Now, there is an asterisk on that 38-match win streak. They actually lost in the AFCON Championship to Senegal. Well, they were losing 1-0, and then Senegal players and team, coaches, staff, everybody left the pitch in protest. I can't remember what the protest was for, but they left the mid-match in protest. So FIFA actually gave them a 3-0 loss instead of the 1-0 victory. But nonetheless, 36 unbeaten games and 38. Like, this is a team that they know who they are defensively, and they've evolved offensively. So we're going to put, I believe it was 1 unit on this one. Yes, 1 unit plus 114. All right, second pick, Senegal versus Belgium. We're taking Senegal to qualify, plus 128. The difference in between picking Senegal money line and Senegal to qualify, if you're picking a team money line, they have to win in the first 90 minutes of the match. If it goes to extra time and penalties, even if they win, you will lose that bet because they did not win before overtime or anything. So you have to take the to qualify prop if you want to win and it goes to penalties. Now, it will cash if you win in the 90 minutes too, which is why I like it. The odds are a lot different, but the odds are also a lot shorter. So I like it, especially for underdogs. And so that's why I took it for Morocco and for Senegal. If it's a favorite, if if the juice is low and I like it, I'll probably take it in the 90 minutes. For example, Brazil is minus 147 to win in regular time. I would take that over them to qualify, because I believe for them to qualify is like minus 337 or something, which is an extra $2 of juice that you don't want to waste. But nonetheless, Senegal has scored 8 goals in 3 games. That's more than Belgium has scored all tournament. Belgium drew Egypt and drew Iran before beating New Zealand. They've been inconsistent, which is not surprising. Belgium has been one of the biggest underperformers of all time, of the last 12, 13 years. They completely wasted their golden generation team from any chance of winning. This is the first ever meeting between the two teams. There's no psychological edge for either team. There's no historical data for either team. Senegal is ranked 18th. Belgium is ranked 10th. This is not a mismatch. But I don't believe in Belgium. And you're telling me that they're minus 195 to qualify after drawing with Iran, drawing with Egypt, and yeah, you beat the brakes off of New Zealand, but New Zealand's never won a World Cup game. So I'd rather take the team that lost to Norway and France, but looked good in those losses over a Belgium team that won 1 and draw 2, but did not look impressive at all. Pick number 3, Ivory Coast versus Norway. I'm going to take the draw at plus 246 here. Ivory Coast is a very good defensive team, but they cannot and do not shoot. Norway is a very good attacking team, but their defense is suspect. I expect Norway to win. I don't know if it'll be in extra time or in shootouts. I just don't know if they're going to win in the first 90 minutes. Ivory Coast is open to scoring in all 3 of their group games. They're only the 2nd African nation to ever do that in the World Cup. Haaland and Odegaard. Haaland is Norway's attacker. Martin Odegaard is their best midfielder. They are fully rested. They were benched versus France specifically for this matchup. The manager even came out and said that he was benching most of his players, knowing that first place was on the line against France. He had already said, we're probably not beating France, so there's no point in wasting anybody's energy or having anybody get hurt. I believe this will be a 1-1 draw at 90 minutes. Of course, Haaland is always dangerous and capable of going for 2-3 goals in a game, but I do believe in the Ivory Coast defense. They held Germany to 1 goal. They held Ecuador to 0 goals, and they held Croatia to, I believe, to 1 goal. It might even be 0. I can't remember that game. But yeah, Norway's given up 7 goals in 3 games. Ivory Coast had 2 clean sheets, so yeah, he gave up no goals to Croatia. This match is screaming draw to me. At plus 246, we're going to put half a unit on that. All right, and then my last pick for the World Cup section, this is my most convicted pick of the World Cup first round. We're taking Mexico to qualify versus Ecuador at minus 185. Ecuador has really been one of the most disappointing teams of the tournament. I would say by far the most disappointing team of the teams that qualified for the knockout stages. Mexico won Group A with a perfect 3-0 record. They were the only host nation to go unbeaten in the group stage. They're playing at home in Estadio Azteca, which is in almost 2,300 miles of altitude, 87,000 fans. They've played 9 World Cup games in this stadium. They've won 9 times. Ecuador did beat Germany at sea level, but Germany had already locked up the group. They were resting a lot of their players. I'm not really impressed with that match at all. Germany had nothing to play for. Ecuador had everything to play for. So that was a result that I want to say was expected, but it wasn't surprising. Raul Jimenez is in real form. Edison Alvarez is anchoring the midfield. The full squad is available for Mexico. That stadium, that city, and that country is going to be ready to rock for this matchup. And they'll be looking at a future match. I believe they play England in the round of 16 after this. I'm not really big on taking chalk like this, especially for the podcast. Maybe for my own personal plays, yeah, here and there. But I couldn't. 185, I believe, is really good. Is a really good price for this team. It should be closer to like 250, 275. So we're gonna put 1.5 units on this play. All right, that's it for the World Cup coverage. There are a lot more matches, but just the lines, especially in this first round with them expanding the tournament, was just really all over the place. So I'll definitely have more picks as the rounds get smaller. But in the meantime, we do have Wimbledon starting off tomorrow, and we have plenty of tennis to cover us for the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to do my best bets for the first round first, and then I will do my futures to end the show. So first pick, we're taking Zuzu Berg's money line versus Ugo Humbert. This will be Tuesday, June 30th. I'm not sure what time yet. It's going to be sometime in the morning. They haven't released the scheduled time yet. They have everybody scheduled for 6 o'clock in the morning, and we all know that that's not happening. But Berg has just beat Humbert today in the Eastbourne final in 3 sets. He won 3-6, 6-1, 6-4, I believe it was. They're now playing on the same surface 2 days later. Fatigue and psychological edge is honestly, fatigue is going to be the same for both of them. But I do believe the psychological edge will be for Bergs. Humbert now has to face the guy that just beat him today, 2 days in the Grand Slam. He's going to be sitting on that for 2 days. There is a perfectly good chance that he comes out and demolishes him. But Humbert has never been that type of person. I'm actually interested to see in how he responds to this. I can't think of the last time he'd played somebody twice in 3 days like this, and I'm really curious to see how he responds. But a lot of times, whenever he's put in pressure situations, he folds mentally. So you give me plus 122 on a guy that just beat him today, we'll put a unit on that. All right, pick 6 for the show, pick 2 for Wimbledon. We're going with Raphael Collignon, money line versus Arthur Fils at plus 108. Fils is returning from a hip and back injury. He has skipped all lead-up events. He has not played since before Roland Garros. So he is sitting on almost 2 months of inactivity since he's last played. Collignon won the Eastbourne Challenger. He's in form on the surface that Wimbledon is in the same surface as Wimbledon. I believe this will be a trap game. I think Fils is going to be favored despite the injury risk just because of his name. A lot of bettors, especially on these books, just see a name and they bet it because they're like, oh, I know that guy. Oh, his price is low. Like, that's easy money. A lot of people do not do their research when it comes to this stuff. They just see a name and they bet on it. I've fallen victim to that myself. I still do it sometimes. I think the market is underestimating the player coming off 0 grass match practice or games. I'm going to take the plus 108 at 1 unit. All right, pick number 3 for Wimbledon, pick number 7 for the show. We are taking over 42.5 games for Taylor Fritz versus Jack Draper. This is going to be, I believe it's tomorrow. This is 2 elite grass players, and I mean elite. These are 2 of the best grass players on the tour. They're both healthy enough to compete hard. They both have been coming off of injuries. Draper's was a lot more serious, but Fritz took a couple months off earlier this year. Their head-to-heads have typically gone the distance. I believe all of their matches but one have went all sets, whether it's 3 sets or 5 sets. Fritz withdrew from Eastbourne as a precaution, but he came out and confirmed that he's healthy and rested. Draper physically has looked good since he's come back from his injury. I don't know how he's going to hold up with the best of 5 because it's been almost a year since he's played in a Grand Slam. But 42 and a half games, we can hit that in 4 sets. It doesn't necessarily have to go 5. If we can get a tiebreaker in 1, maybe 2 sets, we look really good in 4 sets. We just don't need a domination in a set. I don't need a 6-1 or a 6-2 for this. I do believe that this is probably the best single play of the men's first round. Grass slows the game down and extends rallies between 2 big servers. It accentuates big servers, which both of these guys, well, Draper is. I'm not really sure about Fritz. Fritz is a great server. I want to call him a big server. The one thing I think helps us in this case is Jack Draper is a lefty, and lefties usually takes other players' times to get acclimated and adjusted to. So we could see Fritz trying to feel him out for a set or two. Seeing what Draper's throwing at him before we see Fritz really turn up the heat. So 1 unit over 42.5 games. This is at -118. This is the first minus pick I've taken in Wimbledon. I think it's the only one I'm taking on this show. Wimbledon pick number 4. I'm taking Quinyin Zhang money line versus Siniakova at +104. I believe this one is Tuesday, either Monday or Tuesday. I'm not sure. Tennis. Really, the one thing I don't like about tennis is they always wait till the last minute to update their schedules. So unless I'm recording this, now if I recorded this at my normal time around like 10, 11 o'clock, I'd probably have it then, but because it's a preview show and I had so much to give you guys, I really wanted to record it a lot earlier today. The models give Siniakova only a 52% chance of winning. That's essentially a coin flip. You're giving me plus money on an Olympic single champion. At a coin flip price. Zhang is more athletic. She's more powerful. Usually that translates well on a grass surface. I understand she's coming back from injury, but she's actually looked good since she came back from injury. She missed pretty much all of 2025 with an injury. She started off kind of slow this year, but she's really starting to find her rhythm. She was a top 10 player in 2024 before she got hurt. I believe she got ranked as high as number 5. So this is somebody who knows how to handle pressure moments in big stages. While this match may not be a big stage, this will have plenty of pressure moments, and I'm going to trust her over Siniakova in those moments any day. So I'm going to take the plus money on a former Olympic champion. 1 unit +104. And then my last play, I'm going to go on a limb on this one. I'm going to put 2 units on Jacob Mensik money line and Giovanni Impesci Perry card money line. 2 units at +122. These are 2 of the biggest servers on the tour. Perry card is the biggest server on the tour. Mensik just had I believe it was a semifinals appearance in French Open. It was his first Grand Slam semifinal appearance ever. These are 2 really big servers versus weak opponents. This is a clean chalk play at plus money. Mensik by himself is -278. Perry card is -159. When you combine that, you get +122. Both of these players should win comfortably. I expect Mensik to win in straight sets. I would like Perry card to win in straight sets, but I have a feeling he'll probably win in 4. But to get plus money on these 2, with grass accentuating their serves, I think this is a great value to lay a 2 unit parlay piece on. All right, so that's it for the show picks. Just to recap, we're taking Morocco to qualify 1 unit at +114. We're taking a draw on the Ivory Coast Norway match, half a unit at +246. We're taking 1.5 units on Mexico to qualify at -185. And we're also playing 1 unit on Senegal to qualify at +128. For the Wimbledon picks, we are taking Zuzu Berg's money line versus Ugo Humbert. 1 unit at +108. We're taking Rafael Collignon. I fuck his name up every time. We're taking him money line versus Arthur Feast. 1 unit at +108. We're taking the over Taylor Fritz and Jack Draper match. 42.5 games. 1 unit at -118. We're taking Quinyin Zhang money line versus Siniakova, 1 unit at +104. And we're putting 2 units on the Jacob Mensik money line parlayed with Giovanni Perry card money line at +122. Our total exposure for this episode is 10 units. We finally had a winning episode after 3 straight losing episodes, and you guys know me. When we get a winning episode, I like to capitalize on it and try to get an astronomical jump on the next episode. I have heavily researched these picks all day, including yesterday. I'm not saying I'm going to go, 9-0, but I firmly expect a 6-3, 7-2 card for sure on this one. I tend to do best with tennis during Grand Slams. If you guys remember, the show picked both outright winners of Wimbledon last year. We picked 7 of the 8 quarter winners across men and women's. This is the first real Grand Slam preview we've done since then due to extenuating circumstances. But I had to come back and try to do it again. So speaking of the futures, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the Wimbledon futures. Outright tournament for the men. I don't think he's going to win, but the value that they're giving him before the tournament is too good to pass up on. We're going to take Jannik Sinner at -165. He's the defending champion. When outside of Carlos Alcaraz, he is the best player on the planet. Alcaraz is not playing in this tournament. He's still recovering from his wrist-hand injury. The only reason I'm taking Sinner at this price is because if and when he makes the final, there is nobody on earth outside of Alcaraz that he's going to be listed at -165 against. So I'm going to go ahead and take that before the tournament starts. It's value in the sense that if he makes the final, he's going to be -400 or 500 against anybody else he plays. So it just makes sense to take the -165 now while the price is low. The other two outright winners I have for this tournament, once again, a player I do not want to take, but Alexander Zverev at +1100. He just won his first Grand Slam at the French Open. Outside of Sinner and Alcaraz, he is the best player on tour until proven otherwise. He's beaten everybody else but Sinner and Alcaraz in a Grand Slam. I think now that he's won his first Grand Slam, he doesn't have the internal pressure eating at him. And I could see him really dominating this tournament. He's serving better than he ever has at this moment. And when he's serving, it's very difficult to beat him. So we're gonna take a dart on him at +1100. My last pick for the men's tournament, Ben Shelton +1600. He is 6-1 on grass. He has really come along on grass the last couple of years. He just won a title in Stuttgart, and out of all the number 1 seeds, he has the cleanest path to the semifinals. There's not really anybody in his bracket that can threaten him. So I'm really interested in seeing how he handles that. He tends to play his best against, I want to say, the top of the top, but between, I would say, rankings 5 through 15, he tends to do really well against. It's once he starts playing the 1 through 4 players in the world where he starts to struggle. I believe he's 1-12 in his last 13 matches against top 3 players in the world. Quarter winners. Quarter 1, Sinner. I'm not taking him at 550. I'm just picking him to win it. There's not really anybody that's going to beat him unless he has one of his physical limitation breakdowns because of the weather, which, as we saw in the French Open, can happen. The long shot in his quarter, I'm going to take Rafael Hodar at +2200. This is a very high risk, high reward play. Hodar is 19 years old. This time last year, he was ranked in the 600s. I believe he's now ranked 26, somewhere in the 16 to 30 range. He's beaten a lot of quality players this year. He tested Sinner and Taylor Fritz this year. I believe the more experience he gets on the tour, the more dangerous he is going to become. So I don't expect him to win the quarter at plus 2,200, but the value, I believe, is there. Quarter two, Djokovic's quarter. I'm taking Djokovic minus 155. This is a 7-time Wimbledon champ. Outside of the Australian Open, this is his favorite court to play on. When you think of Wimbledon of the last 15 years, you think of Djokovic. He has proven that when he's healthy and when he's rested, there's only 2 players that beat him on a consistent basis. Him and Zverev, I would say, pretty much are on the same level. I would give Zverev a slight edge just because of age and form. Zverev is able to play a lot more tennis now than Djokovic is. Djokovic is really picking and choosing his spots, which works for him for the most part until he gets hurt. I can see him pulling an injury, 3-4 rounds into the tournament. And we'll just call it what it is. He's gotten really lucky in a lot of the last tournaments that he's played in. He's had a lot of walkovers, a lot of early retirements that have helped carry him into later rounds of tournaments. But until the man retires, you have to put some respect on his name. He is the greatest of all time. My flyer for this quarter, I was debating between Felix Auger-Aliassime and Fonseca. I'm going to take Felix just because with Fonseca, until I see him do it on this surface, it's going to be hard for me to take him on this surface. I've seen him do it on clay in the French Open, so I'll be a lot more open to picking him next year. But on grass, he made it to the 3rd round last year. I believe he was the youngest player ever to make it to the 3rd round of Wimbledon. But Felix has the serve. He has the athleticism. Plus 550, that's really good odds for him. Quarter 3, taking Ben Shelton plus 270. I already have him as the outright tournament winner, so you give me plus 270, like I said, on what is considered the easiest draw of the 4 quarters. I'm going to take that every time. My long shot for this is Jacob Mensik. He's the French Open semifinalist. He has a big serve. A lot of the game that Mensik likes to play fits really well into the Wimbledon grass courts. So if Shelton is to slip up, it's either going to be to Mensik or Mensik's going to capitalize on it. So plus 600, I think that's really good value. And then the last quarter, taking Zverev at plus 210. Same reasons that I explained for the outright winners. My long shot, I really didn't want to take this. I wanted to wait until after the first round, because I do believe whoever wins that Draper-Fritz matchup is going to be the one that pushes Zverev in the quarterfinals. But I'm going to go with Fritz for 390. I probably would have went with Draper if he had a little bit more time back from his injury. But with that long of a layoff, I'm just not ready to place that money on him yet. So that's all I got for the men's quarters. Moving on to the women's. I only have 2 picks for the Wimbledon, for the women's outrights. Ironically, the pick I think is going to win has more odds than the favorite, but I'm going back with Jessica Pegula. I picked her last year. She's the best in form. She's been the most consistent top player on tour this year. She's already won a couple titles. She's 31-8 on the season. She just beat Sabalenka on grass, I believe, a week and a half ago, including a 6-0 bagel in the 3rd set. Believe Pegula is going to be out for blood this time. As I don't know if you guys remember, but last year women's Wimbledon was a massive bloodbath. I believe 7 of the top 8 players were eliminated within the first 2 days. Sabalenka was the only player ranked in the top 8 still in the tournament after 2 days. I believe if you include the men and women, 15 of the top 23 seeds were knocked out in the first round. Wimbledon has always been historically chaotic, but even more so on the women's side. So Pegula at plus 1,000, I think, is excellent value. She's not scared of any of the top players, and when she's playing at her best, she can compete with any of them. I'm really I'm not going to say I expect it, but I'm really hoping that she gets her first Grand Slam title this year. Other outright winner, I'm taking Rybakina at plus 550. She's the 2022 champion. She has the biggest serve in women's game. I wouldn't say she's as powerful as Sabalenka, but her serve is 100%. And she's given Sabalenka fits. I believe she's beaten her twice this year already. I know she beat her in the Australian Open final to win her second Grand Slam alongside her 2022 Wimbledon. But I believe she beat her again not too long ago. I believe she's 2-1 against Sabalenka this year. So those are the only two I got for the outright winners. For the quarter winners, quarter one, I'm taking Sabs, number one player. Her form is shaky. Her quarter is loaded, but she has grown mentally a lot since last year. I don't think she stresses as much about losing as she has before. She still doesn't take losses well, but I don't think she lets bad form eat at her as much as it used to. There's just as much of a chance that she runs through this bracket as it is that she loses in the first two rounds. So plus 145, I'm gonna take that value every day. My dart for this quarter is Maria Andreeva. She just won the French Open. She is in the form of her life right now. She is currently plus 370. The only concern I have with her right now, she's only played one grass match this season. So she didn't really have a tune-up in leading up to this tournament. Quarter two, taking Pegula, plus 250. Same reasons I said for the outright, not going to rehash them. I'm going to take Goff at plus 270. I know Goff hasn't been having the best of seasons this year. She did make the Miami final. She lost to Sabalenka, but she's still the world number 3. She's still one of the most athletic players on the tour. And on grass court, athleticism translates. It's just with the top spin, with the serve, there's just so much you can do athletically on grass courts that you can't do on clay. And I think Goff is going to have a big bounce back. I think it's going to be Goff versus Pegula in the quarterfinals. Quarter 3, I don't believe in this pick, but she's defending champ. She has not been in form. I believe she's only played in 2 grass matches, and I believe she lost them both. But this woman, when she is on, is the most dangerous woman on the planet. I'm taking Swiatek plus 270. I have no rhyme, whatever you want to say. There is no business that this woman should be getting picked in this quarter. But just looking at the odds of the rest of everybody else, I can't face myself and say I'm going to pick them against her. There's only one other person in the bracket that I believe can beat her, and that's Svitolina. And yes, Serena Williams is coming back. I believe she'll win her first match, maybe her second match, but I don't think she's beating Swiatek. I'm hearing people saying she's going all the way to the quarters, she's going to the semis. Man, that woman is 44 years old and has 2 kids. I would love to be wrong, and I would love to see it, but I gotta see it before I believe it, and I gotta see it before I'm putting money on it. Like, hey, if you put money on it and it hits, more power to you, because it will not be me. But I have Swiatek at plus 270, and I got Svitolina at plus 430. Svitolina is 34-9 in the season. She's a 2-time Wimbledon semifinalist. Only concern I really have with her is I know she had a recent hip injury, and I don't know how she has recovered from that. I haven't seen her much since that injury, so I don't know how she's feeling, how she's maneuvering, if it's bothering her. I don't know any of that right now. Then the last quarter, I'm taking Rybakina plus 250. Excuse me. Same reason I said for the outrights, 2022 champion. She's the best server on tour. Grass is her best surface. You can make the argument that hard court is, but I think her game is better suited for grass more than it is hard court. Only person I can see in her bracket beating her is Noskova, who I have as the long shot at plus 650. Noskova won Berlin earlier this year. She has the fifth best grass ELO rating on WTA. For those of you who don't know, ELO is a rating system that rates you based off of your form of play, your opponent's form of play, and the strength of your opponent. It's not the end-all be-all of ranking systems, but it is a good indicator of letting you know how you are doing against people, against other people on the tour. Noskova has been in pretty good form. She beat Paula Badosa and made her way to, I believe it was the semifinals of a grass tournament last week. I can't remember the name of the tournament. But when she's on, she can beat pretty much anybody. And Rabinkina is known to have slip-ups every now and then. She'll lose to people that she's not supposed to lose to. So I absolutely could see it happening, but I would still say that Rabinkina is the favorite to come out this quarter. Now, I just sat there and told you guys the women's Wimbledon is a lot more chaotic than any other tournament. And I just sat there and I picked all the chalk to win the quarter with one long shot in each one. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Gamble responsibly, and as always, get rich or go broke chime.